be involved with sports, which is something I loved. I don't think you'll last very long. And you're not gonna be able to keep really good coaches because the focus can't be on you. It's crazy dealing with the agents. Like that part of dealing with agents and all that, it's become so much more like pro sports and free agency.
What other roles or duties do you have as an AD?
I would love to be able to spend time around our guys all the time and our women's players all the time. Like we should have been doing this 20 years ago. You don't have that mentality. You don't have that desire, that want to get better. This coming season, we'll spend $5 million on our roster. Wow. The numbers have changed a lot. Yeah. You don't know how much people are really making.
Would you like to have put on collective or NIL?
Had a great season. He's going to go make a whole bunch of money. He's 25 years old, older than my daughter, who's been out of college for 3 years. Right?
I want y'all to know with that story. We also went to the club.
Who you with?
Game related.
Stay game related, man.
My man. Stay game related, man.
Stay game related, y'all.
Stay game related, man.
Stay game related.
My man. Stay game related.
Stay game related, man. The best in the business.
Stay game related. You gotta stay here locked in.
When you make it in life, you always want to give back. Yeah. Same what you doing right now. These kids
have faith, believe in God.
Cool. Just put that work in.
Stay game related, man.
Stay game related, man. Listen, game related for sure.
My man.
Yeah, stay game related, y'all.
So stay game related.
Stay game related.
Stay game related. Game related. Stay game related.
Stay game related.
All right, stay game related.
Stay game related. Stay game related.
My man. Stay game related.
Stay game related.
All right.
Stay game related, man.
Stay game related.
Stay game related.
Stay game related. All right, my man. Stay game related. Stay game related.
Yeah.
Stay game related.
My man.
Stay game related.
My man.
Y'all better stay game related.
When the whole world be waiting for you, but if you want some local shit, you won't even know.
Welcome to Game Related, where we highlight opportunities and obstacles from former athletes with the thought process of giving future generations a better understanding about the game.
These conversations are meant to bring awareness to the opportunities and the hardships that come along with the game. Let's get game related.
Welcome back, y'all. Season 4. We got another episode. As you guys can see, we are at VCU. We are on the admin side today, man. We got our guy, Ed Mclaughlin. Quick story. Eazy-E was our AD when we were at Niagara University. And I would like to say that I feel like we prepared him for what college athletics is. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about NIL, collective, and just things that you guys might not understand on the admin side of things, man. So welcome to the show.
Appreciate being on with y'all.
Yes, sir.
I feel like it's been a month of Sunday since we've been we've seen each other, but it's always good. We have a little more gray hair these days and a little more pounds. So you guys look like you can still play, but back in the day. But I tell you what, it's so great to see you and to see what you've become in life and what you're doing and trying to impact the next generation of athletes is so important. So this is awesome we'll probably tell some stories today, I'm guessing, a few here and there, at least the PG version of them,
Yes.
I'm sure I don't know if everyone knows, I was an athletic director for about a week or two before y'all turned my new job upside down. But it's all good. It's all good. We can laugh about it now, and it's all good fun stories.
Oh man. So let's get into it, man. Talk about what inspired you to be a athletic director.
Yeah, I mean, it's when I was in college, I worked in the athletic department at Boston College, and I thought my entire life I wanted to be a sports writer. And then, I had friends who were student athletes and saw the impact that athletics had on their lives and also the opportunity. Like I say all the time, and it goes back to even college then, places I got to see and the people I got to meet. Sports has given me everything in life. I've traveled the world. My kids have been brought up around it. My daughter was a student athlete in college. Sports has given me everything and every opportunity. It's been amazing to me. What I saw as an athletic director, what you could do is you could really impact lives and get people to become the best versions of themselves through college. College is the most pivotal time in a young person's life.
Yes.
You go from from being in high school and being home, whatever home looks like, that doesn't matter, but whatever version of home is, to once you're done with us, it's time to go be an adult. And it's our job to get young people to be the best versions of themselves for that transition through sport, right? So I saw it at a really young age in that, like, I could be involved with sports, which is something I loved. I wasn't tall enough, fast enough, or strong enough to play. There's no way. I mean, I knew from an early age, I was like, I love playing, but like my ability to do that at the highest level was going to be really impacted. My high school football coach was the first one to kind of tell me about working in sports, and it was his really nice way of telling me I wasn't good enough to play football in college.
It's a good pivot, though.
It's really, really smart. Like I think about him all the time, you know. But I was just able to be around adults and either coaches or administrators at Boston College who really helped impact my life. And like as I got into it, I could impact lives through sports. And I knew from, foolishly or not, like I knew at 20 years old I wanted to be an AD. And then there's no part of me that ever didn't think that was going to happen. Like it's just one of the, maybe it was naive at that point, but like, I'll go do this. I'll be an assistant AD, then I'll go and I'll be an AD. And it was like, I didn't really process at that point. It's really hard to get these jobs. Yeah. It's really hard to get them and keep them, right? So I've been super fortunate, but it's when I got my job at Niagara, I was the youngest AD in the country, and it's the job's evolved a lot since then, but it's been an incredible ride, and hopefully I got many more years to do it.
Absolutely. What would you say for folks that want to step into that role? Like, what would be the best route to take?
There are a ton of different routes. I think if you can do three things, and you have to do probably all three of them, but coming up, you need to be able to make money in this day and age. That's probably the most important thing. With revenue sharing and NIL, none of us have enough money, and we're in a business where, athletic departments at the highest level, they're spending $250, $300 million a year on their athletic department. Wow. Think about that. Our athletic department budget at Niagara was $9 million.
Wow.
My last year. $9 million, right? These cats are spending $250, $300 million, right? So your ability to generate revenue, especially in this new day and age with revenue sharing with players, like you got to be able to generate revenue, number one. You got to be able to manage money, right? You got to be a really good fiscal sense of it and be able to manage your resources really well and make good hard decisions. And you got to be able to manage people. At the end of the day, managing people, and no matter what business you do, is the hardest thing any of us do. Everyone's got their own goals. How do you get a group to collectively work towards a common goal, right? How do you take all the different personalities and solve conflicts and communicate all those things, build accountability? But managing people is probably the most critical thing. And to be able to manage coaches, coaches are an interesting breed, right? They are. I mean, and what makes them, what we love about them, they're driven, they're passionate, they are tunnel vision. Also becomes a challenge for them as well, because they can't understand why they can't have what they want at that moment, right? So that makes it a challenge.
That
so
sounds like my wife.
Yeah. I mean, like, hey, listen, like, I think the best thing I've ever learned is in being an athletic director is it's not about you. It's about your student athletes, and it's about your coaches. And if your ego wants to be the star, it's going to be a real big problem. Like I'm not a guy who likes the attention necessarily to begin with, but like, when I got here to VCU, our head basketball coach was Shaka Smart, who's now the head coach of Marquette, and Shaka was one of the most recognizable faces in the entire college basketball world at that point. And when you go by one name, like it's like Shaka, Madonna, Sting, like
Wow.
you know, like you think about it that way, like you know, Shaka still by one name. I mean, if I got here and try to like make it about me, it would have been a problem. Like we had to make it about what our program was and our student athletes, and he's not an ego guy either, but by the nature of what he does, there's just, all the tension's going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a big ego as an AD, I don't think you'll last very long.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to keep really good coaches because the focus can't be on you.
No, that's great. That's great. Let me ask you this. What is one thing that people don't understand about being an AD in 2025?
Well, I'd say this. The one thing is, I think you hear, I'm sure you all have heard, like people talk about sports being like, so dramatic, the drama of sports, whatever. Unless you're in the inside, you don't realize the game itself is the least drama that you have throughout your week. Like the games for me are the sanctuary. Like the games where I can kind of like, I can just lock in and be part of that moment and be with the team and the players. And like that part is the best joy that I have. So people talk about the drama of sport. The drama of sport happens from the day you get in the building in the morning, practice, all the meetings that you have, dealing with all the different issues. Like that drama happens way more. There's way more drama than that. People don't understand that. You know, it's because as fans, people go and watch the game and it's dramatic moments and kids making great plays and buzzer beaters and things like that. That's great. That to me is like the least drama of it. Like the drama that you deal with when you have student athletes do some crazy things and you have, because, you know, like the 18 to 22-year-old brain is not developed.
Yeah.
It is not. And it is more developed than when y'all were 18 to 22, and y'all weren't developed at that point either. I can tell you that.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Right? So it's like that's what people don't understand. I get asked all the time, what's you know, this game or that game, and I remember games, but I remember the relationships and the things you go through way more than like I remember we played Siena in the championship game in the MAC tournament in 2007. If you told me what the score was, I would believe you. Like if you told me the score was 100 to 80 or 40 to 35, I would believe you because I don't remember. I'll never remember what the score was, but I remember like that week. I remember all the things we had to get through that week. I remember all the things we had to get through that season to get there. I mean, you know, like we had a guy go missing for a little while. Remember that one?
Yeah.
I had my career high once he went missing too.
You did. That might have been the best weekend of your career when he went missing. But like all those things, and then don't forget, his sister sang the national anthem on senior day. He wasn't even there for senior day. You think about that, like all those pieces. I mean, like that's the drama of sport, right? So. I mean, that's one thing I think that in this day and age, like, you know, those things all stay the same. They really do. That drama part, people don't understand it. The other part of it is, as an athletic director now, you know, it is so much more like a pro sport than it ever was. You know, I never in my life thought I would use the words, I need to go talk to one of our players' agents.
Wow.
Never in my life. I've been doing this 30 years, guys. And I was late to a meeting with the donor, a lunch meeting, and I shot him a text. And I say, "Listen, I'm sorry. I was with so and so's agent, and I needed to spend a little time with him to explain what we're doing with revenue sharing and NIL next year, to make sure he was happy, to keep the kids happy, to keep the agents happy. So that with this day with the transfer portal, you know, someone's unhappy. It's the first thing they do the day it opens. Yeah. Or now what they do is they announce their intent to enter the transfer portal on Instagram and all that right before they actually portal opens, right? I mean, it's like,
I'm just throwing the fish out there real quick.
Yeah.
Trying to gain some leverage.
And there's so many times where you hear about it and it's true. The deal's already done by the time the kid gets in the portal. It's crazy.
Wow.
So if you're not like dealing with the agents, like that part of dealing with agents and all that, it's become so much more like pro sports and free agency. It's I still believe we can do what we do here at VCU and develop young people. I do believe that. I see it every day. I see the results of it. But that part of it it's so different now. Because I used to describe being an AD as like, you know, you see that thing where you see plates spinning on top of sticks. It's like a circus trick. It's like keeping 11 or 12 plates spinning on top of sticks at all times with all the different things you got to do. Then throw now the agent thing on top of it. It's like having water on top of the plates to try to keep the water from falling off, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a challenge, man.
So you mentioned managing people.
Yeah.
You mentioned being able to generate revenue.
Yeah.
What was another? It was one other
Managing
thing.
money.
Managing money, right? What other roles or duties do you have as an AD?
I spend a lot of time fundraising. I spend a lot of time doing that. But I also, it's community outreach stuff. It's dealing with politicians because we're a state institution, you know, in state government, right? In appropriations and things like that.
So is that like lobbyists too?
Lobbyist stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So you know, in big facility projects, the NIL world has not stopped the fact that the facilities race has continued. Like you sit around in this building here. This, you know, we opened this building 10 years ago, and you know we're doing a whole bunch of other big facility projects for our other sports. So you know we're in the middle of a phase one of a $180 million facilities project, build an athletic village, practice fields, outdoor track, tennis center, all these things. So, you know, I would love to be able to spend time around our guys all the time and our women's players all the time. Like, it's just, there's not enough time in the day to do that. Right. And so, you know, you spend so much time fundraising or doing media stuff or just external stuff, like stuff that's outside the walls. I spend 90% of my time not around our student athletes, which is hard. That's why the time I do have around them, I really try to dial in and invest in their lives and making sure, you know, I know all these different pieces and we support them. I mean, that's the biggest part of it. But yeah, I mean, I would say in a usual week, there's like 35 hours to do fundraising and 35 hours to do outreach, and then probably, you know, 10 hours with the kids, you know?
Okay.
But I would say this too, you know, I'm probably a little different, that I am super invested in their lives. I'm part of it. You know, so many of if you ask our student athletes now, at least in men's and women's basketball, you know, if they need to reach me, they just text me, right? Like that's not normal. I get that, but like, I want them to make sure they feel supported, and if they ever need anything, just to sit and talk, I'm here for them. I'll make time for that any day of the week. And
you've been like that, you know, since I've met you.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, it's such a blessing to be able to do this, and not a lot of people wake up every day loving what they do and being able to truly impact lives. And I see it now. Like, you're a great example. You're a great example. The guys that we've had who played here, guys who played at American, like, I want to make sure that I'm there for them for the rest of their lives. The relationship doesn't stop the day you graduate. If it does, then I've done something wrong. I've really done something. If the relationship stops and you feel like we don't have a relationship anymore the day you graduate, then I've done something wrong. Because I haven't been that person that can be a resource, a mentor, a friend, like all those things throughout the rest of your life. Like that's what it should be, you know. And I hear people on TV talk all the time, you know, student athletes are being used, and like, maybe it's happening in other places, but don't throw a blanket over our whole business and say that we're using the kids. Like, there's still so many stories of what we do for them way longer than that. And we have 14 former student athletes who work in our athletic department right now as coaches or staff. Like, that's almost unheard of.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It's great, and that's how it should be. Like, you know, if you love this place so much that you want to come back and work here, then we've done something right.
Yeah, exactly, for sure.
It's pretty good, right?
Yeah,
now, I don't know if y'all would want to go back to Niagara because it's so damn cold up there.
Yeah, there's a couple things.
At one point in time, I did because my son's from up in Buffalo.
Yeah,
he was born in Buffalo. So, one point in time, I was trying to get back up there. Yeah, but
then you have to deal with those winters, man.
I know, right?
Remember walking back from the dorms over to the Gallagher Center, and the snow and that wind would go through you. I mean, like it would be like 20 below zero with the wind chill.
Yes.
What was the thing we used to do? We would hit the handicap thing to open the door.
Open the door.
And if it flew open, we was going back in the room. It's like, no class today.
Can't make it today. Sorry.
Can't make it today. Yo, that thing flew, boom, good, and rattled.
Sorry, Miss Monica. I ain't going to class today.
Goodness.
That's right. I know. It's you know, that to me says it all. It's across sports, but you know, we have 2 former players that are here that are working on our men's basketball staff now, and great, terrific players, both in the Final Four team. And you know, for me, the fact that they want to come back and impact the next generation of people who wear this uniform, to have that bond, that's incredible.
Definitely. So VCU, it is really respected nationally, you know, as a mid-major. Like, what you think has fueled that, and how do you maintain that year to year?
The maintain part is probably the hardest part, right? It's hard to win. It's hard to win again. Mm-hmm. It's hard to stack those wins on top of each other, and we've done it in my time. You know, Coach Martelli will be the 5th head coach we've had in my time. But I think the biggest part is how do we make sure we provide such an environment where we've got resources, number one, to do the things we want to do, to travel the best way, to eat the best way, to stay in hotels, the tutoring, all the other things we could do now with all this deregulation. You know, we can have pay for our student athletes' families to go to the NCAA tournament and conference tournaments, and we can pay for the kids to go home. Pay for mental health services, pay for all these things that we can do now, which I think we should have been doing this for a long time.
Yeah,
like we should have been doing this for a long time. And fans can, you know, be upset about NIL and revenue sharing and all that, but the reality is, and you know, we should have been doing this 20 years ago when we started paying coaches and administrators a whole lot of money, and it's really disingenuous to say we didn't have money for the student athletes. Mm-hmm. Really is. I mean, come on, like, right? Like, and I think we've been able to provide an environment at VCU where, whenever anyone would transfer away from us, they'd always want to come back. You know, it's the connectivity that we have with our student athletes. It's the way we can dial into their lives. It's all the bells and whistles are great. But I think we build trust, and that's the foundational thing. Like, if your student athletes trust you and they want to be around, you know, it says something that we had 14 pro guys come back and work out with our guys all summer long. Like that culture, that tradition, that obligation to keep it going. Everyone feels that. You know, it is in our DNA to, number one, like, play like dogs. Like, we're gonna, like, you play against us, you know it's not gonna be easy. You may beat us, but you may not. Mm-hmm. And we're gonna play like dogs, and we're gonna make it really hard. And that winning mentality is in our DNA. I mean, so we're not gonna recruit young men or young women here who don't have that. You might be the most talented kid on the planet, But if you don't have that mentality, if you don't have that desire, that want to get better, and like we just don't have to compromise on a kid. Mm-hmm. And I think we've set up what I would call like an incubator for winning. Like we've set up an environment where we're not just going to plug and play. It's not going to happen that way. But we can bring in really great people and set up an environment to succeed. Mm-hmm. and really kind of culture wise, like it is about these three letters.
Yeah.
And if we accomplish the goals of these three letters, all the letters in the back of the uniform get accomplished as well. Mm-hmm. But that's a big part of it. Like, because we've done it over different coaching things. You know, you look at Duke and Gonzaga and Kansas, Michigan State, they've had one head coach for a long time.
Yeah.
Right? You know, we've done it since really 2002 or 2003 when Jeff Capel took over, and then Anthony Grant, and then Shaka, and then Will, and then Mike, and then Ryan. Now Philip will do the same thing. I mean, it's to be able to do that over 23 years or so, and all these different head coaches, it's hard to do. Now, part of it is too, you look behind us at this crowd, like when you have 8,000 people, it's who fill this place every night. Like,
this looks like a fun time right here, man.
It's like, don't tempt me with a good time is what I like to say, you know? It's but in our community, VCU basketball means something. Mm-hmm. It really does. We're not in a city like DC where, you know, colleges get swallowed up by the pro teams. And we're not in a place so small like Niagara Falls where it's really hard to get the community to really be invested in it, that part of it. It means something here. And I'm so fortunate that it does. But that's what's kept this thing rolling. Mm-hmm. It's the fact that, you know, you want to have a great experience. You know, try coming in here and playing against 8,000 people who are just wild. It's like having 8,000 students too. They are wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Friday night, we gotta get down here.
Yeah, definitely.
The Friday night games here are insane. You know, people tailgate. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So you talked a little bit about Coach Martelli. So that's the new hire. Speak a little bit about Martelli and what are your hopes that you have for him now that he's going to be spearheading the program? Yeah, I mean, like you guys, I've known Coach Martelli since he had hair, which is a long time ago because he doesn't have any hair anymore. You know, it's they've come from a family that has grown up and lived basketball, lived college basketball in this league. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, you know, his dad was the coach at St. Joe's forever, and won championships and coached NBA players and did all that. You know, so I'm really excited for Philip for this opportunity because, you know, it's the next step. I've seen since he was 40 years old when he got to Niagara, 24, 25. He wasn't much older than y'all were.
Yeah.
You know, think about it that way. But I've seen, and you guys can see it then too. I saw like the glimmers of him being a head coach. The way he connects with people on a really deep, meaningful level, that is so important as a head coach. You got to be able to connect with your staff, your players, alums, media. Philip could do that. You know, he describes himself as a great teammate, and I think the best leaders are the best teammates. Mm-hmm. You know, if you can't be a great leader if you're not in it with your folks every day and invested in their lives and, you know, want them to succeed. You know, he's got, I would say empathy, but he's got such a high level of empathy. He wants everyone else to succeed, not just about his own personal goals, right? So I just knew back then he would be a really good head coach and just followed his career and tried to be a resource and then a friend and a mentor and someone just that could be ears for him when he needed to talk about next steps in his career and career growth. My hopes are the same as my expectations. He's going to win championships. Mm-hmm. That's the expectation here. Like, he's going to coach in the NCAA tournament. If it gets to a point in a few years where we've had so much success that someone comes and pays him just an absolute boatload of money to go be their head coach and it's the right place for him, I'm going to give him a hug and wish him all the best. It's the same thing I just did with Coach Odom. When he left and went to Virginia, which is a dream job for him. And I tell our recruits all the time, VCU is a place where you can reach your dreams. Whatever your dreams look like, you want to play professionally, you want to go be a doctor, you want to go be a lawyer, we'll get you ready for that. Reaching your dreams is also, that applies to the adults as well, right? And the coaches who have come through here have all gone off and gotten jobs that are life-changing financially and life-changing for them as coaches as well. That would be my hope for Philip, is that I hope he's here a long time. But if we win so much that someone comes and pays him a whole bunch of life-changing generational money to go do that, he should go do that.
Yeah.
And like that's the reality. VCU is home for me, and I love this place, and I love this community, and it's so much for me. But I don't get offended when someone has great opportunity. I really don't. And the same thing with this day and age with student athletes. If someone is going to have one of our student athletes who plays a really high level and can market themselves and make a huge amount of money even before they go into the NBA, I'll love them to death. They handle things the right way. I'll love them to death. But that's what I expect from Philip. I mean, continue this thing.
Yeah.
Take it to the next level. Like, challenge yourself to really dare and dream and take this to a point where it's like, we're killing it.
Yeah, no, definitely. When you say great communicator, good with people, because we spoke off camera, and I was and Stan know always talk about it when we interviewed Fat Cat, that just a personal conversation that we had in my senior year, and that changed, kind of changed my mindset and where I was at that point in time, and that definitely helped us propel on to having that great season and win the championship at NCAA. So I definitely know that he's going to come in and do a great job.
And you're going to have that memory for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
That memory of in the locker room at Bridgeport, Connecticut, like when we celebrated that championship together, and the journey that we had that year. Because that was a hard year to start.
That was a hard year. Yes.
Off and on the court.
We started off at 1-6, maybe.
I think 2-8, 10,
something
2-8,
like that. Yeah,
and won 23 games, 24 games, whatever. But we'll have those memories, and that season will bind us all together for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And Philip was such an important part of that group, and he was brand new.
Yep, brand new.
So he had to build trust with y'all quick. Within a span of months. He didn't recruit y'all, hadn't coached y'all through the first few years of college. But think about the connectivity you had with him in that short period of time.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. I remember my senior year once Rennie left, and my role changed.
Big time.
Right? And there was a game where I think I probably had like 15 and like 8 rebounds. And he was like, Stan, like, that's good, but like, that's not enough anymore.
No.
And he was like, you got to do more. And like, I'm excited because, I'm coming from a role where I was only shooting the ball like 4 or 5 times a game.
What was that?
And he was like, no, like, you know what I mean? But like those little conversations, like we talked about, is the connectivity and the confidence to know. And then he used to work on stuff with us before practice. He
was always in the gym.
Yeah, big developer.
I mean, look how much your ball handling got better your senior year.
Yeah. So, just a lot of things.
Right, because remember, there were times we didn't want him handling the balls as much,
I would give it up. I'd be like, take the ball. That's a fact. I'd be like, take the ball, dog. I can't read this.
Yeah, exactly right. We made sure Rennie had the ball most of the time. But that's, and he was, he's that guy who, because he learned it from his dad. He's that guy who's, the main thing is, how do we get you all to develop to become the best version of yourselves that way?
Yeah.
Yep. So tell me, like, if there was any challenges far as trying to balance like the athlete's opportunity through the institutional compliance or fairness.
Yeah, I mean, institutional compliance makes everything really hard.
Yeah.
and we're in a world now where we'll probably see an NCAA that has less rules. I think that's probably a better way to go about it. We want to make sure we give you all the most we can in terms of student athletes. But the rules that we used to have around it, like, we'll give you bagels, but you can't have cream cheese on the bagels, and that's what the extra benefits look like and all that. It's just silliness. Like, it's a $1 billion industry, and we're worried about
cream cheese
on a bagel. I mean, what are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, this new world that we'll go through with revenue sharing and deregulation and, like, trying to clean out a bunch of these rules that probably don't make sense anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That'll allow us to do a whole lot more for student athletes, and including sharing revenue. My hope is that it also kind of cleans up some of the bad actors that have been in college basketball for so long that are, paying kids under their table and taking money. What we kind of need to get sorted out now is get some regulation around agents. That's probably a bigger one. So the agents don't take advantage of these young people who don't have anyone in their lives to tell them this makes sense and this doesn't make sense, right? Mm-hmm. So, these young people are signing with agents at 17, 18 years old, and the agents are taking like 10% of their revenue share. So you go in pros, your agents are getting between like 1% and 3%, mm-hmm. and probably 6% on a sponsorship deal. To get 10%, and now they're not looking to the kid's best interest but where's the place this person's going to develop and be comfortable, like all that, get out of their comfort zone. It's like, how much money are we going to get? How much money am I going to get from that deal? And then in 8 to 10 months, when the portal reopens again, do it again. Mm-hmm. And like, what does that do for the kids to get them to develop the best way, to make them get ready for the next stage of life? Because, if you have a great career playing basketball, you're probably done playing basketball at the age of 35. If you play for a long time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then what are you going to do for the next 50 years of life? Right? So it's like, how are we making sure your development and as a person is ready to go? And not every place is right for every kid.
Right.
Y'all got a place that was right for you, but you also played for a guy who was right for you, and the environment was right for you. And you could have probably gone to a whole bunch of different schools that wouldn't have been the right place for you.
Yeah.
And so in this day and age, like, how do we regulate the agents and put rules around that? I'd rather have rules around that part of it than so many other silly things what we used to have in terms of compliance, right? Yeah. You remember those compliance meetings you used to sit in?
Yeah. Not really. Not really.
You don't remember the content, but you remember sitting in those meetings.
Correct. I will say that I remember sitting. I don't remember absorbing. Yeah. So, man, obviously, we just talked a little bit. NIL and Collective has changed the landscape of NCAA basketball, football, just sports in general. Talk about what have you guys done as VCU to adjust to it and how you handle it. And also, if you can give an example of a challenge that came upon Collective or NIL and how you guys tackled it.
Yeah, the first challenges were really like getting our arms wrapped around it a couple of years ago. And we're at a point now. I feel like the challenge has been now just getting player contracts in the right place in terms of revenue sharing. So, a few years ago when this first started, it was, I think, we spent somewhere around $300,000 on our total NIL, the Collective spent. But I'll put the Collective in revenue sharing, NIL, all as one bucket as we. But I think our collective spent $300,000 on players that year. That was 2 seasons ago. This coming season, we'll spend $5 million on our roster.
Wow. $5 million roster. Unbelievable.
We this past season was 1.8. So the first year was 300,000. This past season is 1.8. This coming season will be $5 million. So how much? What's changed about it? The numbers. The numbers have changed a lot. At first we were trying to figure out like how to get our arms wrapped around just what this looks like and how do we, because the schools couldn't really be part of any of the negotiation. It was really the collective once the student athletes agreed to come. And even the whole thing continues to evolve quickly. And the financial pieces evolve quickly. And how because now, when y'all played, if you transfer, you'd have to sit out a year. Mm-hmm. There's no sit outs anymore.
Right.
We had 3 guys on our roster this past year, and they're all terrific young men who I love to death. They had 3 guys who've been to 4 different schools, played at 4 different schools. That's probably the norm going forward. Yeah. My thing is I want to make sure they stay on track to graduate. And if not graduate, get a master's degree as well. Because you can do that now with summer school.
That should be the norm.
That should be the norm.
A master's degree for sure.
To be able to leave college with a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, and it's free, it's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
To be able to do that and make money at it now, if you're not taking advantage of those things, then shame on you, right? Then you've got someone not in your corner telling you the right things to do, right? So, this world has changed so much in the last 3 years. And now with this new house settlement, which I'm sure y'all have followed at least a bit of that, it's back damages for student athletes who were played between 2016 and 2020, and now allows us to share revenue going forward. So
is there any way you could get that to like 2004?
2009?
Can we push that? Can you push that?
Yeah, I'd have to ask Judge Wilkin if that's possible, but I don't think so. I mean, y'all would have done just fine back in the NIL days too. I can tell you that. But it's changed a lot, and it's how do you provide an environment where we are going to have a really good advantage over a lot of schools because we are able to share that in a school like Maryland. I'll say like up in DC, Maryland's going to have the challenge because they have football and they have basketball both at a high level. How are they going to allocate all the money, because you can only allocate up to $20.5 million, right? We're never going to spend that much money because we don't have football.
Right.
So we have the ability to spend way more in basketball and put money into a roster that's different. Now, as it goes forward, I think there's probably going to be some level of collective bargaining if the student athletes are going to be deemed not employees, but some type of special status. I think there'll probably be some level of collective bargaining that'll go forward. So that'll be a new iteration of it. But yeah, the challenge really is just, how do we get an environment where we're protected, the student athletes are protected, we're dealing with all the different legal pieces of it that come into it. And it's all brand new. Like we're all, schools across the country, we're all kind of feeling our way through it together. Because there is no like legal precedent with it, right? There's nothing there to say, okay, this is what typical contracts will look like for your name, image, and likeness. This is your brand, your personal brand. Like, how do you quantify what fair market value is like for someone who's like Cooper Flag?
Right.
Like, what's the fair market value for Cooper Flag? Right. Like that's really hard to determine or remember like Zion when Zion Williamson played at Duke. Right. Like,
well, you see the kid AJ who's going to BYU.
Yeah.
I mean his is what was 7 million. But
something,
is that even,
right? Like.
Right.
There's also the part where you don't know. There's no honor among thieves, I like to say. So you don't know how much people are really making.
Yeah.
100%.
You don't know, and there is no thing where you have to show that what in writing what the other schools have offered you. Like it gets to a point where schools panic at the end too, and they overpay, and probably for not the right fits as well. So you don't know what the kid from BYU is getting, or what Cooper Flagg got at Duke or anything like that. Which I think probably is good in some ways, because you don't want people who are like predators financially to come and try to take advantage of these kids who have money, right? Like, especially kids who come from more challenging socioeconomic backgrounds. Like, they don't know how to manage money yet. They don't have someone in their corner who's helping guide them along, because their parents may not have had that either, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, how do we provide this environment where things aren't as public as they might be, but they're also a little more honest?
Yeah. Let me ask you this on that note. What regulations, if any, or guidelines would you like to have put on collective or NIL?
I think a big one is and we talked about this in Division I Council, because it kind of impacts eligibility, right? Like, if you sign a 2-year NIL deal and you want to transfer after year 1, then there's got to be some money that gets paid back to the school. Like, if coaches leave, they have buyouts, right? If a coach leaves, there's a financial number that they pay the school, that either the school pays that they go to, or the coach pays the school that they just left. And if Coach Martelli were to leave here, someone would owe us a whole lot of money for him to leave, right? I think you should have that. In leagues in Europe, in soccer leagues in Europe, it's transfer fees. So if I think that transfer fee, something like that, or something like that, that level of accountability. I don't have any problem with revenue sharing with the student athletes. I don't, because it's a multi-billion-dollar business. I don't have a problem with that. But you can't just go play pro and I don't like my team. I don't like my coaches, my minutes. So I'm just going to go to another pro team. That doesn't happen.
Yeah. Right.
You sign a contract, you play out that contract.
Exactly.
And if you don't like that contract, you can sit out, but you ain't getting paid.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, I mean, like, what are we teaching these young people for the next phase of their lives? That to me is what it is. So have some structure and have some guidelines and accountability for the student athletes, so they don't just jump because someone's telling them, you got to go, you're not getting the respect, you're not getting the minutes you should. Why don't you dial in and, like, you may not play as a freshman. You may not play that as much.
Mm-hmm.
Now, by the time you are a junior or senior, then you should be playing more. And if you put the hard work in and you're at the right place with the right fit, then you're going to grow and develop and be in a good place.
Yeah. But
the root of it is you have NIL and the transfer portal on top of each other at the same time. It's like this collision point that really broke open the whole business.
Yeah.
So if we can have some rules around that, I think that would be that'd be great. And realistically too, I think part of that goes to eligibility. Like, so I think we'll probably get to a point where student athletes will have 5 years to play 5 seasons, and there won't be waivers and red shirts and all this stuff. It'll be, you have 5 years to play 5 seasons. In high school, you play high school for 4 years.
Yep.
If you get hurt in high school, you don't get an extra year.
Yeah, that's
right?
Yeah.
That's a pet peeve of his.
Yeah, I was struggling with, guys being 28 and you still able to play college basketball. Crazy. And I'm like, really? Like, that's a disservice to the guys who's really trying to come in and really learn and develop. So
yeah, because the high school guys are getting hit right now,
big time.
Yeah,
big time.
Mm-hmm.
We had a guy on our team this year who's terrific. He was in his 7th year of college. He's terrific, a great kid, had a great season. He's going to go make a whole bunch of money. And he had a bunch of injuries that led to that, the season-ending injuries throughout his career. So, but, he's 25 years old, older than my daughter, who's been out of college for 3 years. Mm-hmm. And so he was in the gym working out last summer, and one of our pro guys who graduated in 2018 came in and for workout. And he goes, "Man, that looks like a guy I played against my senior year." And I said, "That is the guy you played against your senior year." He was a freshman, this guy's senior year, who graduated in 2018.
Wow.
Think about that. So like it impacts that next generation of young people who are trying to use basketball to have a better life.
Yeah.
Sport is an access point to a better life, no question. And college sports should be a thing where it gives you the ability to go get a degree and grow up and learn and develop through sport and make your life better, right? It's hurting those kids in this generation of high school kids coming up who need that when there's a college football player who's in his 9th year of college.
Yeah.
9 years of college. You should be a doctor at that point, right? Like, and again, there are plenty of reasons. Everyone has a hardship reason. I get it. But if you get hurt as a pro, they don't just put another year in the back end of your contract. It is what it is.
Exactly.
Right? It is what it is. So you're right. It's that next generation young people who need to develop, who are like, what's my opportunity going to be? Where am I going to go? Mm-hmm. Right? And that's what we have to protect. So I think it should be 5 years, 5 seasons, play as many seasons as you can in 5 years. Right? Okay. And then it comes the next that next piece. I think that's the other part in terms of regulation where I think we probably need some changes. Because right now, it's probably too lucrative for some guys to leave college.
Why would you?
You're going to make a lot more money in college than you're going to make on the G League.
Exactly.
Or your first year in Europe. Like, you're going to make a whole lot more money.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. From the collective side, right? You got folks, putting money in the pot. Outside of them just wanting to see the program do well, what keeps them, I guess, retained or saying, "Hey, I want to give"? Is there something on the back end that they want, or I'm trying to understand there.
A lot of it's access, right? They want to be behind the scenes. They want to come to practice, come to shoot around, come on a team trip.
It almost feels like an ownership thing in a way.
Yeah, and really, what we've had here is people who have invested in their lives as well. So they love seeing student athletes grow and develop and mature and get to know them, and they feel like their way of giving back, giving back to the experiences. A lot of our fans, especially those who are invested in a lot of ways, they've had situations where their kids have grown up around the program. Okay. Their kids have grown up going to games, going to Atlantic 10 tournaments. Their kids went to coaches camps, all that thing. Like it's been a part of their kids' lives. I've so many of our donors now, their kids go to different schools, go to different colleges, but they are VCU basketball fans, and they skip the basketball games at their own schools, at like SEC schools, ACC schools, Big Ten schools. They don't go to the games at their school when VCU is playing on television. They'd rather watch VCU play on television, right? That's a connection that their families have. So a lot of it is that, they've had these great experiences through VCU basketball. They want to give back. Yeah. And they want to see young people develop, and they want to see them become, the best versions of themselves they can. So a lot of it is that. And then it's behind the scenes. Like, these guys who have, and women who have wealth, right? Like, they're in circles where they like to go to dinners or events or the golf club and say, "Oh, I was talking to the VC basketball coach. I was talking to," it's a status thing, man.
It's
like
access.
Like, listen, at the end of the day, whether it's our place or Duke or Maryland or Georgetown or wherever, you're still on television. You're still I call it local famous, right? Like,
We was definitely local famous. We
right?
was definitely local famous.
Right. So it's like you're still that. It's still a thing, and people want to be involved with winners, right? So I think that's the other part of it is the success of the program is not just on the court. It's like they want to feel like they're invested and involved in that winning.
Let me ask you this: is you see a lot of these colleges popping up with GMs now?
Yeah.
Right. Is that a thing that you guys are looking to do here? And if so, or if not, what does that really mean? Because it seems like it's just a sponsor, but like, because you hear like Steph Curry is with the GM, but like he's not doing nothing but giving money. And it eats in my eyes. Like, can you break that down if you know anything about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like would that clash with what you're doing? If you have a GM,
if the GM clashes with what I'm doing, the GM's gone. I can tell you that much right now. That's a simple one. No, so one of our administrators serves as our GM as well.
Okay.
So for me, the GM part is the financial part of it. It's really in terms of managing the program and the roster from the financial part of it. I don't want Coach Martelli to have to deal with agents.
Okay.
I don't want Coach Martelli to have to do the negotiation part of it, because in reality is those things become really hard. They can become contentious, and I don't want that relationship to start that way. I don't want to have that either. Like, I don't want to be in the negotiation of this school versus that school and this kid, and like I don't want to be a part of that. Like, I want my relationship with our student athletes to not have that weight of the finance part on it. So I think, in this day and age, the GMs are in a lot of ways cap managers, like pros have cap managers, and making decisions on that and making decisions on scheduling, because scheduling is so important in college basketball. Y'all know that. In terms of getting at-large bids into the NCAA tournament, your schedule is the most important piece of it, and how you can get non-conference games is so critically important. So that's GM really kind of does that.
Okay.
Someone like Steph, that level of it. Shaq, I think, is like an assistant GM for
LSU?
No, Sacramento State, because Mike Bibby's the coach there now.
Okay.
And Steph's the assistant GM at Davidson. One of our former players who played in the NBA, Troy Daniels, is going to be our assistant GM.
Okay.
And that's really he serve as a resource and a mentor to these guys who want to go to the NBA. He went to the G League. He left here as our all-time three-point shooter, went to the G League, worked his way through the G League, made it to the NBA, played 6-7 seasons in the NBA, but also be that resource, that mentor to tell these guys how the path goes. Because I can tell them one thing. I didn't live it. I didn't live in the NBA. The best person to tell anyone about playing in the NBA is a guy who played in the NBA. And that's it. Right?
Yep.
Like y'all can talk to these young people about what it's like to play in Division I college basketball. You lived it. Y'all did it at a championship level. Twice. Winning one is hard, man.
Yeah.
Winning two is really, really hard. It's way harder. And validating that success, right? Like, you validate it by winning again. That sets you at a level that takes you so much different than anybody else. So like, I think for me that GM role or assistant GM role has to be really strategic. You have to have someone who's willing to get in the trenches and do some hard negotiations, and then have someone like Steph, like Troy, like Shaq, who lived it. And that's what these guys want to get to. They're not going out on recruiting visits. Right. Like they're resources, and the more resources that you can have run your program of people that will support young people's dreams, then that's really where I think if you're doing it the right way.
Right. Okay.
There are going to be people who don't do it the right way, and people who want to just get into it to say that they're a GM or and like anything else, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah. So let's say for some of the viewers that might not know how VCU kind of stacks up against the Power 5 schools. And we talked about a little bit about how, you know, it was a more family environment and you want to see the student athletes develop into, you know what I'm saying, productive adults. What would be like your sales pitch to people about VCU? What would be that sales pitch to them?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm sitting down with a recruit right now. You know, I will say this: the first thing, and like I said before, the first thing I tell every recruit is like VCU is a place you can reach your dreams, because I've seen it for the last 13 years that I've been here. I've seen it. I've seen young people come in a whole bunch of different sports, and really reach their dreams. What I will say on top of that is, though, we're going to be there for you every step of the way for the rest of your life. We're going to be there to support you, to be that resource for you when you are ready for the ball to stop bouncing, because it stops bouncing for everybody at some point. We're going to make sure you're ready for the rest of your life. And if you are at VCU, you are a talented basketball player. You're a talented student athlete, no question about it. And you know, stay specific to basketball. Like, I have no doubt that every kid who comes in that our coaches recruit is talented enough to play here, no doubt. I mean, if not, then we get a bigger issue with our coaches not bringing in talented players. The reason why you come to VCU versus you go to Clemson or South Carolina, we'll just say, or Virginia Tech or Virginia, like, our environment is set up for you to succeed. And we've done it over many different coaches, obviously. But, you know, we are able to get people to succeed in a non-transactional way. Like, what we are about here is about transformational leadership, not transactional leadership. And our investment, everyone else is administratively, coaching-wise, we're just going to be investing in your lives. And I tell recruits all the time, like, because you all know it, because you all lived it at Niagara, but I will be super involved, and I'll be the first person to high five you when you do something well. I'll be the first person to kick you square in the ass when you need it. And I'll also be the first person to put my arm around you when you need it as well. And for me, if I can be that for our student athletes, they're not going to get that at other schools. Not speaking ill of other schools, but schools that have high level, Power 5 football, like, they're not going to get that as much. It's a way more transactional environment, and we set this up in a lot of ways to support our student athletes, like they were professional athletes. Yeah, this is a professional environment, and we really try to set it up in that way, but not the transactional part of it. It's got to be transformational. It's got to be relationship based. It's and I point to. I was sitting in my office right now. If we were, like, I'd point to the pictures I have of different student athletes that have been here. That, you know, I'm just as proud of our guys who have played in the NBA, like Vince Williams, who plays for the Grizzlies right now. Mm-hmm. You know, he's one of the best young guys we've ever had, and you know, Vince's basketball IQ was through the roof, and just a dog. Like, Vince is the guy, when they play the Warriors, he guards Steph Curry. That's his job, is to guard Steph Curry. Mm-hmm. Make some threes here and there. But Vince is terrific. But I'm just as proud of Vince as I am of one of our guys who's in the Secret Service and is on the president's detail. And because I got to picture him in my office too, him and me in my office. And I'm just as proud of the fact that the first text I usually get on Christmas Day is from Vince Williams, which means Merry Christmas. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm so proud of that the relationship I have with him, the fact he's playing in the NBA, that's great. That's his dream to do that. He's financially doing awesome things for himself. Right. But like, when I get the text from him and his girlfriend, who's wonderful, and the dog all in matching Christmas pajamas, I'm like, I've done something right. Like, I've got this young man to be that. Like, that to me, That's what you get at VCU.
Yeah.
That you have that relationship for the rest of your life, and that's the sell to come here. You know, all this, you sit in this building, this practice facility. You know, that's great. But, you know, when we have a guy who played basketball for us here, who now plays football for the Colts. Yeah, there he is. Mo Cox right there on the wall.
Another basketball player.
DMV guy.
Who went and played football.
Played football. Starting tight end for the Colts.
I keep saying it.
Mo didn't play football in college, and he quit his sophomore year in high school because the equipment was too hot. It's a true story. He didn't like football anymore. But, you know, when I was in October this fall for NCAA meetings, Mo and I had dinner, and we talked about it and just a whole bunch of life stuff. And we sat there for 3 hours and didn't talk about football, but maybe for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It was about life stuff. And, you know, Mo didn't say 6 words his freshman year. I mean, did not say 6 words. And to think about, like, fast forward all these years later, and we're sitting in for dinner for 3 hours and just chopping it up. And he's just one of the best, you know, people you could ever be around. And I was at his first start in Miami, like, and he caught 2 touchdowns that day.
Wow.
You know, it was pretty awesome. Like, like, you don't get that other places.
Yeah.
You really don't, you know, and when the times are hard too, we're here for you. Like, we're always here for our student athletes to come back and our alums to come back. We're here for them. You probably just got like the recruiting pitch right there. But it's true. I mean, you know, if we're not doing that, then we're not going to have as much success as we've had. And for young people who don't want that, we're probably not the right place. But if you want that connectivity, you want those things, that we are the right place.
You know, we talked a little bit offline about the kind of the farming system. Far as if a player that might be at VCU and they, you know, overachieved, and now they might want to challenge themselves and they want to go to a Power 5 because they, you know, they think the competition, or they just want to move on, right? And then whereas somebody that's at a Power 5 that might not be getting that much playing time, you know, and they want to come down. Like, what are your thoughts of that, and just of a system like that?
Yeah, it's our fans complain about the transfer portal all the time because of student athletes who leave. They neglect to remember the kids who have come in on the transfer portal and had really good careers. You know, we have a guy who just finished playing for us, who has spent his first 2 years at Michigan and the last 3 years with us. And he is categorically one of the best human beings I've been around in this business for the last 30 years. One of the best. And had a terrific career for us. Terrific career. Was A-10 Sixth Man of the Year this year. Won 2 championships in 3 years. You know, VCU is everything for him. Yeah. So, you know, we didn't have him all 4 years, have him 3 years. But situations like that, you know, he found the right place for himself. It's so much better for him to have come here than stayed at Michigan and had a terrible career.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? So, like, it serves, there's a place for everybody. If we have someone who goes and has, you know, an unbelievable career with us, and then goes off and goes to a Power 5 and has a great experience there as well, then it probably worked out, right? You know, it's funny. I told our all-time 3-point shooter, who's still playing professionally. He's playing in Brazil right now. But I told him when he was back here this summer working out, I said, your 3-point record will never be touched because no one will play here long enough to do it. Like, if you're that good of a 3-point shooter, then someone's going to, at a Power 5 school, is going to pay you a ridiculous amount of money to go play there.
Yeah.
Right? You know, so it's like, and that's okay. Like, it's so different than what college athletics has been. But if you can focus on putting the basketball second and putting the relationship part 1st and the development part, human development part first, the basketball stuff will take care of itself, right? But you got to do all those pieces. Then if you can focus on that, then it really does work. You know, and like I say, people transfer jobs all the time.
Yeah.
Right? People find the right fit professionally for themselves. So coaches leave all the time, right? I mean, so why not have an environment, as long as they're still going to be on track to graduate, why not have an environment where we can have them find the right place for themselves so they can really excel? It's different though. It's to get used to, even when like it's the first couple days of workouts when in summer school, you know, just like getting to know everybody, like getting to put names and faces together and all that. Like it's so different now than it ever used to be. And it's a really hard adjustment in that way. Because you think about it, when you went through your recruiting process, you got to know coaches for what? 2 years, maybe at least a year, right?
Yeah.
Now at the portal, you got like, unless you recruited the kid before, you've got 2 weeks. Damn. Think about that.
Yeah, be really good at what you do.
And your campus visit is 48 hours. So you got to be able to make sure you connect and read the kid and do all your homework and all that. And you have the kid for 48 hours. So they have 48 hours to determine whether you're the right fit for them and they're the right fit for you.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
That's weird.
It's a new reality. You know? So it's I think it's that part of it too. It's like, how do we make sure in that small window that the fit in terms of transfers, the fit is right? Because there's plenty of talented players out there. Fit is so much more important.
So I was going to ask you this, right? Let's go back to 2006.
Oh God.
All right. Now, to a lot of you guys that don't know, Lorenzo and I got into some trouble up in school, to the point where we probably could have gotten kicked out of school. You guys can do your research on that. But this young man to our right gave us a second chance. And I wanted to bring that up to you. This was probably your first week.
Yeah.
First week employed at Niagara.
Yep.
And you probably got a call around like 2 a.m. or something, you know, that 2 of your players were arrested.
It wasn't just 2.
Yeah, well, you know,
there were more of you.
Yeah. I don't want to speak on anybody else because we are here.
Yeah.
Right. But I just want to talk about that and why you felt it was necessary, you know, to give us a second chance. And then also just the pressure from an AD standpoint.
Yeah. I mean,
Thank you.
yeah. And don't forget, like, it wasn't like, we had known each other for a few years.
Right.
We'd known each other for a week.
Right. The easiest thing in my eyes you could have done is just said, bye.
Yeah. And listen, y'all were very, very lucky that y'all were very, very lucky that your athletic director in high school, Joe Rada.
Rest in peace.
May he rest in peace. He vouched for you guys. And Joe and I have been friends for a long time. Back when we used to host your high school games at American University. And I was the guy who worked with Joe, and we hosted the DC Gonzaga Classic and the games, the WCAC championship games, and games against O'Connell, all those things. Joe and I know each other really well. Joe spoke up for you guys and vouched for you guys. And if someone of his character was going to vouch for you, then it was incumbent upon me to fight for you. That's how much respect and friendship I have with him. God rest his soul. And how he said, yeah, they're knuckleheads. but he said they're both good kids. That's a true story. And but I am a big believer in there are degrees to which perspective helps a lot. When we were going through that in small town Niagara Falls, New York,
Yeah.
and I was a brand new AD, and I was 33 years old, and I wasn't ready for it. Thought I was prepared, but I wasn't ready for all that. It feels like when you're going through it, like it's like the biggest national story on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And you all probably felt like it was a pretty big deal when you all were going through it as well.
I mean, the courtrooms, we had to sneak in the back.
Remember that?
We had to sneak in the back, and there was so many cameras. Could you imagine? First and foremost, with social media, we would have been done.
Yeah.
Right? We would have been done, but just that was crazy.
And there were plenty of people there, not to tell tales out of school, but there were plenty of people there in the university administration that wanted y'all kicked off the team, kicked out of school.
Mm-hmm.
And it was I felt like I had to fight for our program. I felt like I had to fight for second chances in life. Not everyone makes mistakes. Not everyone gets a second chance.
Yep.
And the good news is that y'all validated me doing that. We certainly had our bumps and bruises along the way, but it wasn't as if y'all were like criminals. It wasn't if y'all did like something awful. You got in trouble. We've all gotten in trouble. We've all done dumb things. With the grace of God, we just didn't get in trouble for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I remember saying to someone, I said, "Yo, am I going to be able to look my kids in the face when they're older and explain this story to them, and they say I did the right thing?" And yeah, I will. And I knew I did the right thing then. And it wasn't as if I was covering up something terrible, right? Like there was process. It was hard going through it. I mean, I remember you guys, the stress that you all had. Right?
Yeah.
It was sky high. And I did say, this was like, I said it to a reporter. It was in the New York Times. I'll never forget this. When we had won the MAC championship and we were playing in the NCAA tournament. I said, and this is a true story, I said to Father Levesque at the time, God rest his soul, he was a wonderful man. And I said, the Father, boy's been fighting over girls since Helen of Troy. Like, I'm not the one to stop that. And he laughed at, the little reference to the classics. I think he appreciated. But that's just reality. You know what I mean? Like, I felt at that time, no matter how much pressure I was getting from people to not only take you all off the team, but to kick you all out of school, like, I just felt like the right thing to do is give you a second chance and then let you prove to everybody else that I was right by doing it. And you did. And we can look back and laugh about it right now. There were times I'll never forget, I called one of my mentors, who's now Dan Radakovich, who's now the athletic director of Miami. And I said, I was explaining all this stuff to him, and he said, "You wanted the job, didn't you?"
That's what this entails, right?
It's easy. He just laughed at me. I was like, man, you're right. You're right. I mean, but listen, if you aren't willing as a leader to be challenged, if you aren't willing to go through the hard stuff, like as leaders, the stuff that comes to our desk is the stuff that no one else can solve. It's the stuff that no one else wants to deal with. It's the stuff that's, I like to call it like it's the miracle stuff. Like when it gets to you, like it probably needs a miracle to happen. And
we got one.
And you got one. But that's the reality, If we left it up to some people at that place, y'all would have been transferring as a senior, trying to finish college, doing all that. Like that would have been a disaster.
Yeah, man.
You wouldn't have graduated. You wouldn't have your college degree. You probably wouldn't be doing all this stuff right now. And if I can't correct so many societal norms, like that's beyond me. What I can do is I can take the norms that exist and I could try to make things better for people. And if I had not stuck up for you guys and I had just looked at you guys as, these are just troublemakers, I could have done that, but it would have been a really ignorant way to look at things. Really ignorant way to look at things. So for me, it was, how do we get you guys in a place where we'll put some structure around you now so you don't do the same thing again? But it's all about perspective. And all these years later, we can laugh about it, but the reality is no one remembers the start of that year.
Nope.
Everyone remembers the finish of it.
Yeah.
And by that, certainly, what y'all remember the most is doing that thing together. I mean, obviously, you all have been close since you were 11 years old or whatever it is, but like, you'll remember those memories that binds you all together forever.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah. And I just want to apologize to the person who those activities were involved on too. I never really said that, but I do apologize for that.
I apologize.
Hey, listen, not everyone's perfect.
No.
And I like to tell people, like, none of us is without sin in some way. It's just what the situations are and how you deal with that and how you deal with all of the challenges that we all have. It has made, going through that hard thing has made both of you better people.
Yeah.
No doubt in my mind.
Yeah, for sure.
No doubt in my mind. And it was a way that you could make some mistakes and it not ruin your lives. And that's what college really should be too.
So you said the NCAA council.
Yeah.
Speak about that and what's that's all about, and what's some of those topics and conversations.
So the NCAA council is the group that's sort of heavily involved right now in, there's a representative from each conference, all 32 conferences, and then 2 representatives from other conferences as well. And there's faculty people on it, and there's a bunch of faculty people on it. But it's really like the group that's figuring out what the rules look like, what the business looks like going forward. So I'm on that group right now, and we talk about those big picture things, like what eligibility should look like, what our rules should look like. How do we make sure we have this gigantic 368, I guess right now, schools that make up Division I athletics? What does that look like going forward? Because Ohio State University and Niagara University look about as much the same as the United States and some tiny country in the middle of Central America.
Right.
Like, look nothing alike. Niagara and Ohio. Now, we go play those schools, right, in sports and all that, but we look nothing alike.
Right.
So how do you get this group of schools that are economically different, are just profile different, large publics, small privates, geographically different parts of the country, and all have a common set of rules in this new world? So, and to get to a point too, where it's like, you see, whenever a student athlete doesn't like what's going on, there's a lawsuit.
Right.
I played X number of years at Division II, and now I want to play 4 years in Division I, even though I played already in Division II or I played in junior college. Well, I'm just going to sue. So it's, how do we get some rules around these things where eligibility is what it is, what we can pay the student athletes. We have that understanding. How academics fits in the whole thing. Say, I'm still a big believer in, even though we're compensating student athletes, the college degree is still very important. Still very important. There's so many things you cannot do in life without a college degree, unless you are LeBron James, right? Unless you are, I'm not that big on the music thing. That,
right.
You know me.
try to think of a musician.
I'm trying to think of a musician who doesn't play, who didn't go to college. Like, I'm sure there's some, right? You know, in all musical genres, but like, but there's so many barriers in life if you do not have a college degree,
Right.
right? And just the way people look at you too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, hey, Bill Gates doesn't have a college degree. He never finished Harvard, but he's the 0.0001% exception to the norm,
Outlier.
right? So it's like, so our group is now trying to put all these things together. What does college athletics look like going forward? And what is in the student athlete's best interest? And how do we have a thing where we don't lose the single best sporting event in the entire world, which is March Madness?
Mm.
How do we make sure we don't lose that? And we don't lose the stories of UMBC as a 16 seed beating #1 Virginia.
Right.
We don't lose the stories of the upsets, the personalities that come through March Madness. We don't lose Niagara going to play Florida A&M in the play-in game, and Cliff Brown going for 30 points and telling everyone he's signed with Adidas or Reebok or wherever it was. Right?
I want y'all to know with that story, we also went to the club that evening, and he told everybody drinks was on him, right? And then left. I don't know where we was at, man. I really don't know.
As the story goes, I believe y'all are at Club New York. And he told everyone he signed with, it was Adidas or Reebok.
It was Reebok. It was Reebok.
And this is right after the NCAA tournament. Oh, my God. He left, and Danny O'Brien paid the bill.
Oh, my gosh.
Pelicans, college, high school. Yeah, so Danny, yeah. That's how, as the story was told back to me. But him definitely leaving, I knew that for a fact. But like those stories, and like if we lose that, and what people do the first and second day of the NCAA tournament, and how it is watched from early in the day throughout the night, and if we don't do something to make sure we keep a hold of that and keep that special, then we've screwed the pooch in this whole business. We really destroyed the most important thing that is part of college sports. Because you could say college football playoff and how big football is. More people watch the NCAA tournament than by a factor of 3 than watch the college football playoffs games.
I believe it.
By a factor of 3.
I believe it.
Right? I mean, it's like people filling out brackets, and I picked the brackets on the school colors, or I picked my bracket based on I like their mascots, or like. But there's still people picking brackets. They're doing that stuff. They're still part of it, and watching games and that passion for it. It gives the human interest stories an ability to come out.
Nah, man. So we're gonna close it with this. We always talk about handling success, right? And most people are trying to get to this point, but once you get there, it's a difficult thing maintaining it and staying consistent. If you could give some advice on handling success.
Yeah, it's in our business, people focus so much on getting jobs. It's like, I want to become a head coach. I want to become an athletic director. How hard it is to get these jobs because there aren't many of them, right? Of the 368, whatever it is, Division I schools, and 368 Division I basketball jobs and AD jobs, there's probably 1,000 times that amount of people who like that job, right? So getting a job's hard. Keeping the job is 10 times harder. It is. It's 10 times harder. And if you can't handle success, you can't understand what it takes to do the job every day, you're going to lose the job quicker. And for me, it's going to sound simple, but it's complicated, right? as you go through it. But for me, a lot of it is how do you maintain appreciation, accountability, authenticity. Like that's right there. That's foundational. And I like to make things simple. So it's like remember appreciation, accountability, and authenticity. If you don't have a level of appreciation for the fact that you do something that a million people would kill to do, and all the resources and the people who are invested in the success you have, if you don't have appreciation for that, you take that for granted, you're going to lose it quickly. And I take such gratitude every day for what sports has given me, for the fact that I get to change lives and impact lives, for the fact that I do something fun and exciting and I get to do what I love every day. I have such appreciation for that. Accountability is a huge one. As a leader, if you're not willing to hold people accountable, hold yourself accountable, and be willing to be held accountable with others, you're not going to succeed. That accountability is so important. And then authenticity, man, like, you gotta be real. I'm not perfect. I'm not the best person to work at every school. If I had to be a place where I was super buttoned up all the time and I couldn't be me, like that'd be a problem. Like I have to be real. Like the reason why we have a great relationship still to this day is I'm the same guy I was 19 years ago when y'all met me. Right? Things doesn't change. Now I'm not perfect. Do I use the F word too much? Probably yeah. I probably do. Do I yell at referees at games too much? Yeah, I probably do. Right? I mean, like, but I am precisely who I am. What you see here is what you see at home. It's what you see with my friends. So I think that those are the foundational pieces of it, right? That those are really, really important in terms of handling success. I think the circle gets smaller of the people that you trust. The higher you up on the food chain, the circle gets a lot smaller, and you get to realize that you trust people that you trust really well, and everyone else you probably they're there, but you can't really bring them in to the circle because there's so many people who want to do what you do, right? If you get loose with information and you get loose with details and you think someone is in your best interest, no. You realize in leadership pretty quickly that most people don't have your best interest in mind. They have their best interest in mind, right? So I think that's a big one. And then I think the last piece for me has always been how you spend your time, and spending your time around people that fill you up in the inside, who help make you feel good about yourself, help you replenish. I'm a big believer in keeping things simple. For me, I'm just a simple guy in that way. I think keep things simple. But like how you spend your time and the people with whom you surround yourself during that time, that is such a determining factor of handling success. Because you got to have people around you who will call you on your bullshit too. Sorry, I apologize for cursing, but like
it's okay.
You got to have people call you on it.
Yeah.
Like you have to have people who are in your life who are invested in you in that way. And not all people are. Not all people are willing to be someone who listens to you, someone who supports you, someone who tells you when you're right and tells you when you're wrong, someone who tells you it's gonna be okay. Like that's how I spend my time. And I don't do a whole bunch of crazy things. Like I realize too, like I can't be all things to all people, and that makes it hard. You can't, as much as you'd like to. How you spend your time is important. So I think handling success deals a lot with how you spend your time and making sure you spend your time the way you want to. Because if you're pulled in too many different directions, you ain't gonna be successful.
Yeah.
But I just want to tell you, like, I appreciate y'all being here and appreciate the relationship we have. And I tell you what, I'm so proud of y'all for growing up. You're like I'm so like you guys are dads. You are like trying to impact other people's lives. It's humbling to. I'm not gonna get emotional, but like, it's humbling to see. Humbling to see that we still have this relationship here, and that what you're doing is awesome.
Thank you very much. You know, definitely thank you for coming on the show. This was like a what do you call it? A full circle moment.
Yeah.
You know, especially just given how we first met.
Yeah.
Right.
No doubt.
To now. And I remember coming down here maybe like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And the energy is still the same. I mean, the facility is still the same, which looks amazing, you know? And I just really hope everybody tuned in and took a chance to listen to, you know, what goes on behind the scenes of this game. Because like you said, sports is an opportunity to put you ahead in life, you know, if you use it the right way. And as you guys can listen, you'll hear that Eazy-E has been doing that for 30 years. You know?
No, I didn't. When I first met you guys, I didn't have any gray hair.
Yeah, you
now
did.
Now it's almost all I have now.
Right.
So.
At least you got it. At least you got it. At least you got it.
At least I got it, right?
At least you got it. Well,
it's a good thing.
You guys, man, make sure you guys subscribe, like, and share.
And always stay game related.